Are you having as much fun as I am? I certainly hope so. Fit for the field, and now we're going to talk about recovery. Recovery is sort of like the elephant in the room that nobody sees. And that's because your conditioning or your fitness is a combination of the training that you do and recovery. And recovery is when a lot of our words happen. We regenerate, we replenish, we recuperate, we restore, the list goes on, our bodies and brains so that we can be the best that we can be. And so it's incredibly important and not to be overlooked by any of us. And in the lesson on recovery, which I've got pulled up in front of me, we'll go into detail about a few things. First of all, sleep is probably the largest change maker potentially in enhancing recovery. And I didn't want to get into a lengthy discussion about sleep architecture and the different stages of sleep and brain waves and sleep cycles and all those things, and then what happens in terms of neurotransmitters. I think you've either heard that before or just don't need to hear it now, but what is of great value are the sleep hygiene tips, which you can employ to ensure that you do get the best sleep that you possibly can. And I go through, perhaps not every, but quite a few of the evidence-based or scientifically proven principles, like getting some morning light exposure and how to view various curfews with relationship to caffeine consumption, alcohol, exercise, eating, things like that, and a few more. So I think you'll find that to be very helpful with sleep. Now, in nutrition, we talked briefly about kind of the global aspects of nutrition, but for recovery, there are a few really, I think, power levers that you can pull. One is for glycogen replenishment, or getting in some amount of food, particularly carbohydrate, post-workout in a very immediate time zone. We've got some information about that. We've also got some discussion about the anabolic window with respect to protein and amino acid availability to get the best response from, let's say, resistance training, and also just to repair tissue. Talked a little bit about hydration and kind of looking at that sweet spot where we want to have mostly water, but perhaps some electrolytes in the summer heat if we're training out in it, and also being a little cautious to avoid hyperhydrating and the risk of hyponatremia. Then we think about training adjustments. So training adjustments are basically how do you sculpt things on a day-to-day basis to really make everything work the best for you. And one of the things is monitoring your state of readiness, appetite for training, or other recovery markers such as morning heart rate or heart rate variability, HRV, several other tools out there that we can use, but I like to check in with folks about how you're feeling and almost use like a red light, yellow light, green light approach to that. And so that's something that is explained in this lesson, and it might really be effective for you. So I don't expect you to never miss a workout or bowl through everyone going all out. It's more of an artful dance, and you go your hardest when you're most capable, and other times you go a bit easier. Now, I'm not a huge advocate of a lot of days off from activity or training, but I do like to make sure that when things are perhaps a little bit suboptimal, we're just cruising through the workout instead of crushing it. We're crushing or smashing ourselves. There's also a lot of cool practices out there, using the word cool because cold plunges. A little bit of controversy about that, whether one should do it or not. And the position that I take in this lesson is, well, if you did it for extended periods of time, there is data to suggest that it could possibly blunt some of your response and adaptation to training, although you really got to chill yourself out to get that effect. And since we're training in the summer, refreshing cold plunges just to bring the core temperature back down and help you to get into that parasympathetic state and recover more rapidly are excellent. Also, a few ideas about things like compression socks, self-mobilization tools, and even the use of breathing techniques and meditation. All of these things can help enhance recovery and ultimately help us to get the greatest results from our training and to truly be fit for the field.